We're going to have a brief, very brief interlude now before we have our last final excellent speaker. I wish to introduce Sarah Morehead, who is Executive Director of Recovering from Religion. She has a few brief remarks to make for us right now.
Wow, thank you everyone for a few minutes here of your attention. I'm incredibly grateful to Tony for putting this event together. I've been telling her since I first heard about it, this is an incredibly necessary conversation for our community, and it's one that we don't tend to have very often. We all go to conferences. These conferences are fun and wonderful, but this was informative. I learned an incredible amount, and I'm really excited to share it with our organization. Recovering from Religion is an organization that builds a bridge from the religious world into the secular one. We provide programs and resources as people are reconsidering the role of religion in their life. And that means different things for different people. But obviously one of the important things and one of the important topics is once you stop believing in an afterlife, how do you deal with that? How do you deal with the concept and the finality of death and all of those issues? We have the Secular Therapist Project, which is a program we put together to match therapists who agree to use secular methodology with clients. And I realize for most of us that just means therapy, but in many parts of our country, therapy is presented with a religious infusion based on the therapist's personal preferences. We've serviced over 5,000 clients in the 2 years that the Secular Therapist Project has been going, and we have over 250 therapists registered. So if any of you have connections to or know of therapists who would be interested in being a part of our program, we encourage you to please have them sign up with us. We maintain anonymity for the therapist and for the client until both the client and the therapist agree to share their information and meet. We work very hard at preserving everyone's right to present their information on a level they're comfortable with. We also have local support groups that meet monthly all over the country. We've expanded into Canada. We have groups in England, Scotland, I'm going to try not to forget all of them, Australia, and even in South Africa. These groups provide peer support, real-time, interactive opportunities to have these conversations, people who are currently religious and questioning, as well as people who are non-religious but feel in some way negatively affected by religion. These conversations that we've heard about today, they're happening in our groups. We haven't had resources to offer them up until this point, but I am incredibly excited by everything I've learned from this weekend to be able to take all of this information and put it together in a way that our facilitators are able to pass this on to our clientele. Something I'm most excited about, in the last 6 weeks, we launched what is called the Hotline Project. The Hotline Project is an 800 phone number. It's 184, I doubt it. And the Hotline Project offers people the opportunity to make a phone call and talk to a trained volunteer. We have trained them with a training program we put together ourselves. It's been vetted by 2 clinical psychologists. It provides absolute peer support. What that means is we don't give advice, we don't proselytize. We walk alongside with this individual caller. We help them identify why they called, what resources they might be looking for. We find the resources that are a good match to them. We provide them those resources, and then we encourage them to follow up. We're very big on helping them create an action plan. So in situations like this, when we get callers, and our oldest caller to date that has identified to us their age was 85. She's a former nun, N-U-N. Just realized in this crowd I should clarify. But she's a former nun. She's a non-believer, does not identify as an atheist, just says she's a non-believer. But she was calling because she misses her family, and her family she identified as her church. She just missed the community. She missed the camaraderie of women. She just missed it, and she's missed it for years. And she didn't have anyone she could talk to about it. The people she knows who are non-religious are so dismissive of the concept of that religious community that they didn't understand what she could even find in missing it. And the religious community obviously doesn't have a lot of interest. So she was able to reach out to us, and we were able to make connections with her to one of our online private support forums that gives her an opportunity to talk these things through and make some new connections. just quickly, just yell out a number. I have 2 minutes left. How young do you think our youngest caller has been so far? Just give me a number, anybody. 12. We had a 12-year-old call in because she heard her family talking, and they were talking about how they would never let a non-believer live in their home, including their own children. And the 12-year-old's a non-believer, and she called in wanting to know what to do. We were able to give her those resources. So why is all of this relevant to this symposium? I want to make sure that we are facilitating these conversations, not just in the out and open secular community, but in these little groups that are all over the country. I want to make sure we have these resources. I want to make sure your efforts and your resources are included in ours. If you know of books, if you know of articles, if you know of organizations, yours or others, this is an area that affects us all, and I need your help to make sure this conversation becomes comfortable for everyone. Thank you for a few minutes of your time. I appreciate it.